Good morning and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Buddy. We were bringing you these every Friday morning with a new story, and we love to share the stories. We hope the story will impact someone, and we hope that someone is you. We appreciate you listening each week to our podcast. We do pray it's impacting you, and we ask that you actually subscribe to our podcast, like it, share it, especially on your favorite social media platform. We love to get the stories out to the people, and we're impacting the world one testimony at a time. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a guy. His name's Ken Wright. Welcome, Ken.
Hey, how's it going, buddy? How you doing today?
It's awesome. It's Friday, and yeah, it's awesome,
Man, it feels great outside, too. I'm in a good mood today. I don't know why, but I feel like the weather's just uplifting right now, so I'm in a good mood today, man.
I don't know. It felt like a long winter.
Oh, yeah, it really did, to be honest. It still feels cold outside. It's still chilly, but I'm enjoying it. As long as the sun's out, I'm positive, man. I feel like you can say the same yourself, too.
Well, you said you got up and worked out this morning. What time did you get up and work out?
Man, I got up at 5. I did a little jog. I'm doing a little challenge with my coworkers right now. We're doing like a 100-mile challenge, so I got to beat somebody. I'm really competitive. That's just the athlete in me. So,
dude, I love it.
Yeah, we're getting up, jogging, getting some cardio in. I didn't hit the weights this morning. I didn't want to be too sore, like, in the next couple of days, because I do have to fly, and I want to be, kind of, my normal self.
Good deal, man. Well, hey, let me introduce you real quick, Ken.
Sir, let's do it.
So, Ken Wright, you were born and raised in Dallas, Texas.
Yes, sir.
You made your way up here to Oregon, and you play basketball and go to Willamette. Is that correct?
Sure, of course, yeah. I've been playing basketball for about 10, 15 years, since I was 4 years old, honestly.
Yeah.
It's been a part of me. It's been like my backbone. I feel like basketball is honestly responsible for a lot of the things that I have now. Like, I wouldn't even be in Oregon if I didn't play basketball, which is kind of crazy to think, because like, where would I be, or like, what would I be doing if I wasn't even like a basketball player or athlete here?
Right.
So I don't know, maybe the journey would be different, like, if I didn't play, but even for me being from Texas, like, how many doors have opened up, and like the people and relationships that I'm able to create. Just for me being like in that state, because a lot of people surprisingly, there are a lot of Texans here that are like kind of hidden in the shadows. So like, you'll be able to network and find different people. But I don't know, I guess the journey would probably be different if I didn't have that background in myself. So it's kind of interesting to see. But yeah, that's where I'm from, and that's what.
Cool. And we'll dive in a little bit here in a moment, but I'll just kind of introduce you. But I want to hear a little bit more here in a moment about what brought you to Oregon, why Oregon. But we'll get there in a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so in 2021, you created your clothing brand, Ovrlymisunderstood. It's all one word.
Yes, sir.
And that began the beginning of your progression.
Yes, sir.
And the progression when I asked you that, you said progression of manhood. That was interesting. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, progression of manhood. I feel like a lot of times, well, first, let's start with me just coming from Texas to Oregon. That's a huge jump.
Yeah.
Like, just being by myself out here, like, it's a whole different environment. It's kind of like, undiscovered territory to me. Like, I've never even been up north, like, at all, like anything past Oklahoma. I had only been in the southern states, and the farthest I've probably been up north is probably like on the north side of Cali.
Yeah.
But anything like in the Pacific Northwest, I had never even been, so it was unfamiliar for me to start off with, and kind of scary. Like, I'm an introvert naturally, so I'm not a person that's
funny. You don't come across as an introvert to me.
I wasn't always like this, and it made it really, really hard for me being in an unfamiliar place, because I wasn't able to connect with people. I wasn't able to do that. But with me coming out here, it really just progressed my manhood and starting my business, because it forced me to do those things, because you're not going to have growth if you're not able to connect, if you're not able to network, if you're not able to reach out and try to help people. So it was really like a cyclical process. Like, I would get up, I would have to, find somebody to connect with. Hey, what do I do to, make this connection, or what do I do for this garment, or how do I design this, or where do I go to get this shipment done? So I was forced to do that because I wanted to be successful. So either way, like, it just progressed me overall, like, as a man, and my communication skills, like being able to reach out and talk to people. So I really appreciate that.
Well, it's funny. I'm a little bit wired like you. I'm an introvert, but I'm fairly competitive. Exactly. And that competitive draws you out to go do the things you need to do. Exactly. So even though we're introverted, you almost become extroverted a little.
By you don't even have a choice. And I'm actually glad that it happened that way, because I don't even feel like I would have stepped outside that box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to get out of it somehow.
Yeah.
So I mean, if business and music had to, push me to do that, then I'm all for it. And I'm glad that it took that way.
Love it. Okay, so you make music. You've been doing it since you were 14, but didn't publicly release until you were 20. And then you also use it to promote your clothing. Sure. And we'll dive into the Ovrlymisunderstood Clothing brand here in a moment. You're 2 years into your business journey. and add a crucial piece to your business agenda. You begin to host community events, changing your brand from Overly Misunderstood to Overly Misunderstood Clothing and Events. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And then June is your birthday, June 30th. So that's going to be a big month for you.
Yeah, that's a month, guys.
Yeah.
Best month of the year.
Best month of the year, man.
Yeah, I'm a little biased, but
You're a little biased.
It's the best month of the year.
I bet your mom's biased too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I honestly like June is probably the month. I don't know. I just naturally like want to come out and be more like active. I don't know, like business wise. As a person, I want to go to try and do more things. Like I think it's just who I am as a person. I don't know. June just brings it out of me.
Yeah.
But I started Overly Misunderstood in 2021, off of impulse. Honestly, like it was one of those things. Like I knew that I always had a love for fashion. And just to give you a little background, my grandmother is actually a fashion designer. She designs her own garments, and I used to go to her fashion shows when I was in elementary school. And I never really like knew the purpose of like understood like what I was doing or why I was there. And it was kind of one of those things like I'm just here to be here. But as I really started analyzing like today and like looking back at it, like it helped me so much because it helped me like learn how to put clothes together, like modeling and like taking pictures and like having that access to clothing. I feel like it really just helped my process overall. And then I wanted to put it into my own action, and I wanted to start my own business. I just didn't know what to do, me being a college student, like, and having limited time to do everything. And then on top of that, being a collegiate athlete, it kind of leaves you with no time to like balance everything. You know what I mean? So I was getting really, really stressed. Like, I want to have my own business. I want to start, but how am I supposed to start my business if I don't have the time to do it, or if I don't have the resources to do it? So that was a problem in itself. Like, where am I going to get the resources? Where am I going to get the time? And I always tell people, if there's one thing I can buy, I wish I could buy, it was probably time. Time is of the essence. And I don't know. Yeah, it's so limited. It just makes it really stressful on me. So I slowed everything down. I took a break from everything, literally social media, phones, everything. And I wrote down a plan. And this is what my father was telling me to do. He was getting me a plan written out. Like, basically, like, you need to first find your manufacturer, like who you're going to use. Like, before you pay for anything, look and find your resources and like put it down on paper, whether you buy from them or not. And my mother was telling me, okay, like, once you get your process done, like as far as who you're going to find out how much it's going to cost you. Like, write it down. Even, like I said, even if you don't spend money, write it down. Write down the dividends, how much you'll be spending, your profit, and put it down on paper so you can physically see it. And I'm a visual learner, so that helped me out so much. Like, being able to see like what is actually going to be happening, like, on paper, it helped me out so much. And it helped out my time too, where I was able to structure my schedule to a point that like it was to a T. Like, I could go to practice, go to work, and then I'll have this amount of time devoted to looking at manufacturers. And then like for 2 hours of my day, even if it was for an hour, like anything helped. And once I started doing that, I was able to like catch myself like, okay, this is actually what I want to do. I'm enjoying it now because like I have time devoted to this. And once I started focusing, it was like, okay, now let's buy some stuff. Now let's get the garments. I saved up enough money. My parents invested in like a little bit of money too. Shout out to mom and dad. They put in a lot for my inventory. So they bought my first inventory for my first batches of hoodies, and it set it off. But unfortunately, the first drop that I did for my collection, I didn't sell anything. I had nobody buy from me, and it put me in a really bad position, like mentally, because like nobody's buying my clothes. I put in all this work. I thought it was just automatically supposed to sell, right? But that's not how it works, huh, buddy? Like, people aren't just gonna buy your stuff just because you put it on the internet. And that was a whole other problem because I didn't know how to market. Marketing is still like a tool that you need that's essential to a brand success. And I didn't know how to do that. So I started looking, and this is where the managing piece comes in, right? Like, I'm searching around, and at the time I was with a different management group, Winter's Breed, and I was asking for help, but things didn't turn out the way that they needed to be. And that's why I reached out to Albert. And Albert really helped me like with the process of, marketing and how to do, plans of marketing, and consistently at that. Because my problem was consistency at the end of the day, like putting stuff out like regularly where people were remembering stuff. Like, you want it to stick to somebody's brain. You want it to be memorable. So whenever I was making memorable marketing plans, like, it really helped my brain grow. And I started seeing an increase in sales. I started seeing an increase in streams on my music. Like, it just helped everything. So shout out to Albert on that. But that was kind of like a small little short story of like the process of me starting my business.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit because I want to kind of understand your journey. So, you born and raised in Dallas, Texas.
Yes, sir.
Your mom and dad are still together and married, and you have 2 siblings, a a brother who's maybe a year younger, but then a sister she's 3 years old. That's pretty cool. What's your brother's name?
Kenton.
Kenton.
Yeah, Kenton.
So you get Ken Senior, Ken Junior, Kenton, and what's your sister's name?
Kinsley.
Kensley. Dude, that.
Yeah, we all got the Ken.
What's your mom's name? Megan. So she's the odd one out. Okay, well, that's cool. Well, how did you? Okay, you grew up in Texas. How did your parents influence you growing up, and then how did you migrate to Oregon and to play collegiate basketball? Let's understand that journey a little bit.
My junior year of high school, I was in a frenzy basically to start the recruitment process. I'm a small guard in basketball, so it's kind of hard to get recruited by big schools at that. You have to stand out at something. So I was really adamant about getting one school. It didn't matter who it was, as long as it was one school. That's all I cared about. And my junior year of high school, I actually started getting better. I started feeling more of an elite player, where I could actually appeal to colleges. Because at first, I don't know, I just didn't have the confidence my freshman and sophomore. I just didn't feel like I was big enough. I wasn't good enough. I don't know. That junior year was just something different because I went back to public school from my private school. I just felt like I was a whole different player. So I started getting interest from schools. I played in Vegas in a tournament, and I was actually getting recruited by George Fox. That was the first school that actually contacted me. And they were texting me. They were like, hey, we're in Oregon. And I looked at the text. I was like, Oregon? I was like, I don't even know.
Where's that at?
I couldn't even name 2 cities in Oregon. I could name Portland. That's it. That's all I knew about Oregon was Portland. And I didn't even know about Portland. I just knew the city. So I was like, Oregon? I was like, I've never heard of that. But I wanted to go somewhere where I was going to be in the city where I thought. But honestly, my mom and my dad were like, you have to try it. Why would you just, cancel out that option and not even go see it if you really want to be something in this basketball or have a business or something. You never know, that could be the best opportunity of a lifetime. Whenever I really looked at the message again and I heard what my parents were saying, I was like, why not? That's just the naive in me, my junior year self, just thinking, naive and not outside the box. So I was like, okay, let's take a visit. So I actually didn't visit, but I actually got another inquiry from another school, and it was Willamette. And Coach Kip actually texted me, and he was like, hey, I saw your film, I like you, we can get you on a visit out here. We want to bring you out here so you can come and walk the campus and tour. And he flew me out. He bought my ticket, flew me out. And I remember when I got to Oregon, I landed here and I was like, wow, it's so green. Because in Texas, we don't have the mountains and all the environmental aspects that Oregon has. So in Texas, I swear to you, can stand on top of a building and you can look and see across Texas. You can see everything. It's not like that in Oregon. You stand on top of a building in Oregon, it's mountains and you can see trees and stuff. Texas, you can see straight across. I can see from my house to downtown. And I stay about an hour out of downtown right now. But it was just totally different. The environment just seemed so welcoming. Everybody here was so nice and open armed. I was going to the vineyards and stuff like that, seeing the landscape, and it was slowly growing on me. You know what I mean? I was falling in love with the environment. It was super cool to me. I was like, man, this is as bad as I thought it would be. So we went to Willamette. I walked the campus, and I actually turned out to like it. It was a super cool place.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying it. So I sat down with Coach Kip, and he basically was like, hey, we want you to come here and all that. And I committed on the spot,
And you're by yourself. Your parents didn't come with you?
No, my parents were with me. All of us were with me. Yeah, all of us were there. Yeah, I committed on the spot. Yeah. And whenever I committed, I'm not going to lie, honestly, it was did I just make the right decision? Because I committed so early. I committed before my senior year even started.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even send out my senior year film at all to any schools. It was all my junior year film. So at that time, it was kind of did I make the right decision? Because it was kind of early. I hadn't even, I haven't even played my senior year yet. And I don't know, who's to say, it was the right decision? Because now it's it benefited so well. But whenever I committed, it was a long process because I was really going through it at the time. You never really know if you make the right decision until like I said, what we were talking about before, trial and error. If things are really going out, the way that they should. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, they weren't. I was having, I was homesick for one. I was so far from home that I didn't even know if I wanted to be here anymore. And that was 18-year-old me. So I was like, man, I want to go home and see my friends. I'm a year out of high school. I just want to go party and have fun. And,
yeah.
But I was slowly but surely actually falling in love with the place and learning how to be independent. And like I said, the progression of manhood, being on my own and learning how to live life and take care of myself and pay my bills and it was a long process, but I slowly fell in love with it. But that's kind of how it turned out for sure.
Yeah. You have a great support system. Your mom and dad.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, they've always been by my side, man. My parents, even my grandparents, my mother, my father, my brother, all of them, like they always been there for me no matter what I decided to go do, no matter where I was going to be, even if it was like some of the craziest ideas. They look at me and they be like, all right, let's do it. Like if you want to do it, let's do it. Even
That's cool.
exactly. Even like coming to Oregon, like was a stretch. I put trust in them, but they also put trust in me. It was a 50-50 like bargain. So I appreciate them for everything, honestly, because I don't know where I'd be without them. They take so much care of me and my siblings as well too. So shout out to them, man, because I don't know where I'd be without you guys. I love you.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so are you in your 4th year?
Yes, I'm in my 4th year.
Okay, and this is your 4th year of basketball as well?
Yes, sir.
So you're a busy guy. You do music, do events locally here in Salem. You also work on the Nike campus. What else do you do?
So, and in addition to all those things, it sounds like a lot, honestly, but I also do like amateur modeling and stuff, like influencer work on my pages. I take a lot of pictures. I do a lot of things. I don't know. That's part of the, if you're ready to talk about it, the reason why I feel like I created the name Overly Misunderstood.
Yeah, talk to us about it. Yeah,
like I feel like when people hear all those things that I do, they don't really understand who I am as a person. Like, are you a basketball player? Are you a model? Are you a designer? Are you going to be a person that works? Are you going to be a musician? Like, what are you going to be, an artist? Like, and honestly, I'm not any of those things. Like, I'm myself, like I'm Ken. And that's the reason why I feel like I'm misunderstood, because like people feel as if like you have to be bounded to one thing. Like you have to be like restricted to one area of expertise to be like known. And that's why I have this tattoo on my leg right here. It says Limitless, because I feel like I'm limitless. I can do everything. I'm not just like a one-trick pony. And not like I'm trying to be have 100 different facets that I'm like interested in, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I never want to limit myself. If there's something I want to go do, I'm going to do it at the end of the day. And I feel like that's just going to make me a lot more competitive and a lot more stronger, against my colleagues, just because I'm able to do all these things, and I have fun doing them too. Like a lot of people think like I do all these things and I'm stressed out. Like, no, like I do these things because I enjoy them.
You're loving it, man. You're having fun, man.
And you never really know what I'm going to do, what I'm going to pop out doing. And like, I like to keep people on their toes and like surprise them. So you never really know what you're going to run into with me. I might be skydiving next week. Who knows?
Dude, I like that, man.
No, but I enjoy it.
It's interesting. So Albert is your friend. He reached out to me a couple months ago. We met for coffee, and Albert is your buddy from college. How'd you guys meet? And then how does he participate? Because you mentioned he's kind of managing you, and he's just a few years older than you. I mean, he's not like 23, 24 years old.
Yeah, he's 100% managing me. Albert's my full-time like manager, but the way that we met was kind of funny. So at the time, I want to say this was last year, 2 years ago. I can't remember. It was 2020 or 2021, but I was doing my artist work, like with my music. I had kind of been independently working while he was concurrently working on his DJing stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So we were kind of like separate entities, like at college. Like I knew of Albert. I'm pretty sure Albert knew of me.
Yeah.
But we had never really like met face to face in person. I always knew who Albert was. But I was doing my things on my music. I was promoting, marketing, doing like what I did on my own. And one day, he texted me. I can't remember if he texted me through Instagram or a phone number. I can't remember, but he was like, hey, like, I want you to perform at this like party that I'm throwing like in a couple weeks. And I was like, this is my first show. And I remember I was like, heck no, like, why would I like go perform at a party? Like, I don't even have like a fan base like that. Like I can't even pull 10 people in here. So I was nervous myself, but that's the introvert in me like speaking. I was like, bro, like it'll be a great idea. So I had to go check in with my brother, and I had to go check in with one of my good friends. His name is DJ. He actually just went back to Vegas. He's going to Japan this summer. And I remember I went back to the room and I talked to DJ. I was like, what do you think about me performing? And he was like, bro, like, do it. Like, that's the next step, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you want something, like, you got to go get it. And I remember I looked at him and I was like, this dude crazy. Like, he not even listening to me for real. But
because you're like 18, 19.
Yeah, I was 18. We're both 18 and 19. So it's like something like you feel like you see something on TV or something. So I was like, dude, like, I don't even know. Like, what if people are messing with me, like, on the stage, or like, they're not lit crowd. He was like, just do it, bro. Like, you never know unless you try. It's trial and error, remember?
Yeah. So, trial and error. And that came from your dad. Your dad always say, hey, do it.
Exactly. So
There's no perfection. You just go out and do it and figure it out.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because DJ and my dad are both like close in birthdays. They're both Scorpios. So they both kind of act similar in my opinion. But it's funny. Yeah, DJ basically, he was like, do it, bro. Like, I don't see any way like it could hurt you. Like, I guess all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
So I took his word and I talked to my brother. He said the same thing. So I was like, I'm just going to take a step. Like, why not? You can't really progress without risk. Like, just take that risk. So
manhood is progressing, is taking the risk and doing the risk.
Yes, sir. So I texted Albert. Albert gave me like a deadline. I think I texted him like 2 days before. I apologize. I still apologize to him for that day, but I texted him like 2 days before the event. I was like, I'm locked in. Let's do it. So he was like, bet, like you made a good decision. And he was like, hey, like your songs, all that. And I remember I sent it to him and I was like super nervous. So I met with him before the party actually, and I discussed with him, talked to him. He went out with the layout, he was super organized. That was one thing that like I always noticed about him. Like he was a super organized guy. Like had everything in line, planned everything out. Like if this happened, then we had plan B ready. And I had never been around somebody like that's around my age that has never like, you know what I mean? Like I did that. So it stuck out to me. Like I respected that. And that's why I respect Albert so much is because like, he's always like, no matter what, if something fails, he's gonna have something else like in the back plan. I don't know how many times that we've done that, like personally, like with me and him, our events and like the shows and stuff, where we have to be like, okay, we have to fix this whole thing and like revamp it. And he's so quick at moving. So
yeah,
another thing I respect about him. And whenever I was talking to him, he laid everything out perfectly for me. I was like, this dude is like actually like locked in. He knows what he's doing. So I was like, why not? Like now I'm actually bought in because he's not gonna let it fail. It made me buy in so much more because I was like, if he doesn't want his own business and thing to fail, like what makes you think me being a part of it like is gonna make me fail as well? He's not gonna let me fail with his stuff. So
yeah,
he's really adamant about making this work. So I locked in with him and we started talking. And I remember after the show, like after I performed, the show was actually crazy. It was actually, I'd probably say it's probably like top 3 shows like I've ever had. But he was like, what do you think? Like I told you, and I just busted out laughing. I was like, yeah, like you was right, bro. Like you were absolutely correct.
Yeah. Hey, so just pause for a moment. Are you a singer, songwriter? What are you? What do you do?
I do a lot of singing. It's like melodic rap. I guess you could say upbeat music. But I'm kind of like distancing myself from rap. I'm kind of doing a lot more melodic stuff. A lot of melodic singing. So I'm really having fun with that. But Albert is helping me like transition my sound, like finding my sound and like what I actually like to do. So shout out to him. But the show was just great. And after that show, I literally wanted to do more business with him, and I locked in. And I literally told him, we even have a picture of the conversation like we were having. Like somebody actually took a professional picture, and I was like, dude, like the next one, we gotta go crazy. And the next year, we literally did a show the next year. And it just, after that,
seems like they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So like, we're making progression for sure.
So the one in Dallas that you guys are gonna be doing?
Oh yeah, we're planning that out right now. So we're gonna keep it all as a secret right now. But yeah, we got.
So you don't have a date for the show or anything?
No, not yet. But it's coming for sure. It's definitely coming. We'll have it locked in. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be really good. So I'm excited for him. Yeah.
All right. So this week you're gonna be heading back down. You're done with college for the years. So you're gonna go down and visit your family for a couple weeks, and then when you come back, you'll go back to.
So whenever I go back home, I really want to take that break. I feel like this is like a much needed break because I haven't been home since December. Wow, it's Christmas. So I just been handling business. After Christmas, I was kind of like locked in on my business and my job, like really making sure that I have everything together because I was really adamant about making sure that I take big jumps, and not like unnecessary big jumps. Like I know everything starts with a gradual step, but taking a bunch of gradual steps to get to the point that I need to be at, and it's time to really start locking in on that. So when I go home, I feel like this is going to be a much needed break that I need, like to rest, relax my eyes, relax my arms, relax my body, and just let like wind flow, you know what I mean? Let go, like see my family, spend some time with them. Cause I feel like I don't spend enough time with them like as is. And then like, I feel bad about it cause I'm always out here. So I want to take some time away and just see them and make sure that I'm seeing and spending necessary time with them.
So you got any big plans? What will you do down there?
No, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like they're trying to surprise me with something right now. Like, I don't really know what's on the schedule, but I can't even tell you a day that we sat in the house for a whole weekend. I don't even think we had a weekend where we really just sat in the house like Friday, Saturday.
So you said your mom was born in Georgia.
Yes.
And your dad was in East Texas?
East Texas, yes.
And he grew up on the farm, so...
Yeah, so he grew up like on the land, like on the ranch, basically, like land. He helped with his parents' business, a janitorial business.
Yeah.
My mom was actually born in Texas, but she lived in Atlanta for like an extended time period. So she lived out there with her mom, and then my uncle as well, because my mom also has a brother. She also has 3 brothers. So yeah. So she has a lot of siblings, but they lived in Atlanta, and it was a big transition, you know, like from Atlanta to Texas, because she went from staying like with her mother to like staying with my great grandmother. She's still alive, thank goodness.
Wow, that's cool.
Lord, yeah. So I learned a lot from them, and it's kind of like having the best of both worlds, you know what I mean? Especially having like my great grandmother still alive. I learned a lot from him and like her from the stories and, you know, just how things were back then. So it's really been cool. And then my dad's side, like, is the more like athletic, like, you know, they're the ones who all the athletes like basically were born and like grown. I feel like I got a lot of my expertise like in basketball and all that from them, and like sports. Like my mom's side was more like the technical, like how you should be like as a person, you know, like learning me, teaching me life skills and like things of that nature.
Dad's like really competitive.
Yeah, I got a bit of you know, structure for both.
It's a perfect blend, man. It's
Perfect balance, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really appreciate the family that I grew up in, because I don't know if I would even be the same person I am without them.
You're blessed, man.
Just me being naturally like inquisitive and wanting to go try things and then experience things just makes me a better person overall.
So walk me through this real quick. A couple of things. What keeps you humble? Because that's life. I'm curious about that. And then you rebranded your clothing brand to include your event, or your event, your music and stuff. What's that look like in the next 5 to 10 years?
I feel like what keeps me humble is the fact that like I know that I can always learn from somebody. Like you never can know too much. Like, and I feel like that's where a lot of people hit their ceilings, is because they get to a point where they feel like they monetarily like have reached their goal. You know what I mean? And it closes their mind, because they feel like, you know, money is like the overall goal of everything, which it isn't. You know, I feel like in my personal experience, I feel like networking and like having different networks to connect with is the overall goal. Like having different like outlets to go to, having different resources. I feel like resources overall is going to be your best, you know, venture, whether you know, expect it or not. Money is kind of like what comes with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can get money. Money comes and goes. And I don't feel like that's something that I want to chase right now. And it keeps me a lot more humble too, because like whenever I feel like, you know, I'm chasing money, I'm not really chasing what I enjoy doing, because money comes with the things you love. Like it doesn't, you don't wish upon $1 million. The way you get $1 million isn't by wishing upon it. It's by doing what you love and staying consistent at it. Wow. That's when most of the people get what they want to get. That's how most people get to that point. You know, so I'm not wishing upon $1 million every day. Like, you know, I want to be rich. I want to be like, that's not like what I'm chasing at all. You know what I mean? And I feel like that keeps my humility. Like it keeps me upbeat, it keeps me motivated, you know, because that's not what I'm chasing. I'm chasing networks, I'm chasing resources, I'm chasing outlets, you know, to communicate down the road, you know, who knows what I may need like down the road for my business.
Yeah.
And then 5 or 10 years from now, like my business, I want it to be so versatile to the point like it has no, I'm not gonna say flaws, but no resources that you can't use it for. You know what I mean? Like events can be, you know, like from clothing drives to kids events to like parties to like everything, you know, social events, everything. So I feel like it's broadening the scheme. I always say this, it's broadening the scheme of my brand.
Yeah.
5 to 10 years, not like specifying it to a specific lane, you know? I want it more broad. I want it as a big umbrella group. Cause
it's limitless.
Exactly. It's limitless. It's a big umbrella. Like, exactly. Sky is the limit. And that's where I see myself in 5 to 10 years is basically like conducting or putting people in positions to do the same thing that I do. You know, I overall want to teach people like how to do, you know, balance things with lots of stress and limited time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People just like me, college athletes, college students, like we ultimately have the least amount of time on our schedule.
That's right. I
want to teach students like how to combat that and like how to do what you love and not to take routes that you don't want to do just because you feel like you're limited on time. You know what I mean?
So incredible, dude.
Yeah, I feel like that's what my ultimate goal is, because I feel like a lot of people don't do what they want to do because they feel like they don't have the time to do it, the resources.
And just to your point real quick, when I notice what you talk about your mom and dad, they always encourage you to go out and do it. And I would say a lot of parents may fall into the trap of having their kid do what they think they should do, not what the kid should do. And your life hasn't been like that at all. You've been, your parents let you live this creative life and they support you.
My parents are super supportive of the fact that like individualizing ourselves, because they understand, and we talk about this all the time as a family at the dinner table, like in the car, like you're yourself, like at the end of the day, like what I love isn't going to be what you love at the end of the day. It may be an interest. It may be something that you hold on to it. You remember it just because you've had it in your life for so long, but that doesn't have to be what you do. Like my father has never gotten mad at me because I don't want to be an NBA player at the end of the day. Like he'll never be upset at me for that. My mom would never be upset at the fact that, you know, like I said, if I don't want to be an NBA player, if I don't want to go do something else, like they encourage me to go do other things because they know like if you're not loving the thing that you do, you're not going to be successful in it. You know, you're not going to reap the benefits from it. You're not going to be inclined to work. So like, why would I continue to, you know, push an agenda that like I don't want to like ultimately see a profession in, you know what I mean? Or see like me doing it in 5 to 10 years. Like, I don't know. Like I'm kind of straight away from that. So,
man, you've unpacked a lot here, man. This is really awesome for a young guy, man. I'm really impressed that you've got a good head on your shoulders. The humility piece is that you always want to grow and learn, because how many people have a closed mind and they stop learning, and they just, it's almost like they die.
It's almost like they don't seek, like they feel, I don't know. I've never seen people like, especially in like the recent years, like that I've been like at the age where I'm actually analyzing people and like realizing the people that I'm around, but I've never been around so many people that have like, feel like they've reached their cap. Like they feel like they've already made it to a certain extent. Like I don't have to work anymore. Like I've, you know, made this amount of money, so that validates me to not do this. Like if anything, that should make you want to like grow more. And like I said, everything is temporary. You know what I mean? Like money comes and goes. Like you have to be able to find things constantly that you are enjoying to do and also be productive at. Like you don't want to be stuck in a ceiling where like, oh, I don't feel like working anymore. Like it's getting kind of boring, because that's when your life kind of like fizzles. You know what I mean? Like you lose interest in things. Like, yeah, you can buy everything, but you're not really like, you know, finding things that you enjoy. Like it's not, buying things doesn't equate to happiness, in my opinion. So I don't know. I try to stay humble. I try to stay away from the monetary like value of everything. Like everything doesn't have to have a monetary reward, in my opinion. Losses still can be experienced, still can be wins, in my opinion.
You mentioned the word, I'm not chasing money. I'm chasing the things that bring me joy. I think it's huge. I think most people, well, I shouldn't say that. I think some people chase money. Oh, making money is good. It's fine. We all need it. But you might end up doing things you don't love in life and just to chase money. And that's not the end goal.
Thank you. Exactly. A lot. And chasing money leads people into bad situations, if that makes sense. Like, and we all know what that means. Like a lot of people do a lot of things like because of money, you know, and money is a great thing. Like it's a great thing to have, but I don't think that should be your sole focus. Like sometimes I even cherish and look at my losses more than anything. Like those are the things that like really evaluate me, because they bring me into, okay, scheduling and planning my next things, like my future plans, my future goals, my events. Okay, let's look at the loss and then like evaluate what I did, what I could have did better. Or if it was really good, like what can I do to duplicate this? What can I do to replicate this feeling? Like I feel like those are the things that you need to pay attention to as a person, as a business owner, or even if you don't have a business, just anything that you do. Like look at those losses and experiences and reevaluate them and understand them. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest thing right now, for sure. Especially with me being a young like amateur entrepreneur, like with my brand, I can only soak up like a sponge. Like why wouldn't I want to learn anything? You know, it's the only way. That's the only way I'm gonna grow.
Yeah, I don't think we grow when we have success. I think we grow when we have pain, because we can learn from the pain and make those changes we need to make. But well, Ken, this has been awesome, man. Just to hear your story. I mean, I'm really impressed with your mindset. You have a great family. I don't know your mom and dad, but they've done a great job raising your family and loving you, supporting you, encouraging you. Is there anything on your mind that maybe, as we wrap up, that you want to share that maybe you haven't shared that would be important? I don't care if it's personal, business.
For one, be yourself. I feel like a lot of people transition out of, you know, truly being who they are, and they change for certain things, change for certain people, which it shouldn't be that way, you know? Like I've had people like leave out on me. I've had people, you know, leave, but those people don't leave because of the person that you are. They leave because of the things that you're trying to change to be, you know what I mean? And I've lost a lot, you know, changing for people. I've lost a lot, trying to change myself for like certain things and certain opportunities. And I was wondering why those things, like I said, opportunities were leaving my life, those resources were leaving. And it was because I was changing myself. And I stopped worrying about that. I stopped worrying about what people were saying and like how people evaluated me, because the only opinion that really matters is my own, you know, like. And whenever I started abiding by my rules and like really being the person that I truly am, a lot more opportunities, a lot more resources opened up to me.
And aren't you happier too, by the way, just being your authentic self?
I'm a lot happier. I'm a lot stress-free. You know what I mean? I feel like I was stressing myself whenever I was changing myself for others. And I was trying to appease other people, and I was trying to appease the other crowds. And that's not how it should be at all, you know? Like you shouldn't stress yourself out, you know, to change, you know, for other opportunities. You should always be adamant about working on yourself and being the person that you were meant to be. So my message to anyone, especially like, if you haven't found your true goal yet, like be yourself and enjoy the things that you enjoy, because you'll find love and your profession in that joy. I promise you, it's embedded somewhere in it. And I remember I told you I was an obstacle tech before this. I didn't enjoy it. Like I was making money from it. I wasn't like, that was cool, but I wasn't enjoying it. And that drove me out of it, if anything. And I found clothing and I found music and I loved it. You know what I mean? I didn't have a direct like hit monetary value from it, but it's something I enjoyed doing. And eventually it got to the point where like I was opening up so many doors. And even sitting in front of you right now, buddy, and explaining like the story, like who even would have thought like I would have been here right now, like just talking about this. Like I'm doing something I love doing, and I feel like a lot of people, if they lived by that code, they'd be a lot, you know, better on themselves too. So that's my huge takeaway, man. Just be you, be yourself, man, and follow your true joy, follow what you enjoy doing.
Well, I'm older than you, but I can still take that same message and make sure I'm reflecting on, you know, who I am as a man, as a husband, and making sure I'm doing those things that bring me joy and being my authentic self. And I think you do that really well. So, so Ken, if somebody wants to reach out to you, hear more about your music, your clothing brand, whatever it is you want to talk about, how does somebody get a hold of you and go see what you're up to?
Man, well, I'm a hard person to reach by messaging, but if you go to my pages, I'm OMG Ken. That's the letter I, the letter M, OMGKEN. I'm OMG Ken. That's my Instagram. That's my Snapchat. My brand name is also in my bio. It's Overly Misunderstood, OVRLY, misunderstood, all one word. It's in my bio. Like I said, just click on it. We also have a huge collection coming out. I just dropped my Misunderstood Club branch. It's going to be basically like a branch of trendy, fashionable clothes, other than like the brand stuff that I had already been doing. It's going to be its own collection, has its own new logo. So we have the club membership coming out. Be ready to subscribe to that. Be ready to join out to that, because we got some big stuff coming in June, man. So stay tuned. But yeah, I'm OMG Ken, man. OMG Ken on all platforms, music-wise too. So I'll stream some music, man. I love you guys. It's huge support.
Thank you, Ken Wright, man. That was a great story. Well, brother, I will put that all in the show notes so people can get a hold of you. And man, we'll do this again at some point in time. In fact, we want Albert to come on board next time. And
I want to be on here with Albert too.
Yeah. So we'll do this again, man. So,
yeah, let's do it.
Well, bro, thanks for being part of the show. Thank you for showing up every week. We appreciate you. If you want to be on the show and you have a story you want to share, or you know somebody has a story, we'd love to hear from you. So reach out to me as well. You can email me at buddyp7@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram as well. Conversations with Buddy. So I'd love to hear from you. Have a great week. See you next week.